Hello, I'm Clarence White, and welcome again to the Eastside Freedom Library. We are glad you have joined us for the second Kaleidoscope reading with some amazing artists. We hope you were able to join us for the first reading. If not, those events are still available on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So check that out. It was a powerful event, and I know with the artists that we have tonight, this will also be a great event. The Kaleidoscope Project is one that really exemplifies work that we try to do here at the Eastside Freedom Library. And we are so glad that this project was brought here. And we're also glad that you have chosen to join us for this event. With that, I'm going to pass off this to Rebecca Nichloson, who has led this really powerful experience for all of these artists, and I hope for you too. Rebecca?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rebecca Nichloson, and this is the Kaleidoscope Project, the first iteration of it. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about what this project is. So the idea of this project is essentially a cross-cultural form of considering what advocacy can look like through creative writing. So it's communities of color or writers from communities of color coming together to reflect on the struggles that we face as communities, but also what healing can look like in both of our communities, and doing that through creative writing. So poetry, some of the pieces that have been developed have utilized aspects of fiction. There will also be a play, an aspect of a play that will be presented as well. So the Kaleidoscope Project essentially is a series of workshops. This particular iteration included 2 workshops. The first one included having writers write in response to prompts, about 5 prompts. The first category of prompts was called the challenge. So essentially the first prompt was George Floyd. I essentially just asked all of the writers to reflect on what comes to mind when they hear the words George and Floyd. And so the writers then wrote for about 5 minutes into that and into those feelings associated with that. The second prompt was high death rates of African Americans influenced by long-term disparities in the Black community related to healthcare. So as we know, the pandemic has exacerbated the fact that access to quality healthcare in the Black community, there's a lot of inequality there. So the writers considered that issue in their work. We also talked about racial profiling as it relates to Black people feeling unsafe wearing masks. As we know, the Black body is often criminalized in this country. And so the notion of, having to cover your face, that there's a stigma associated with that has left some Black folks feeling unsafe. The fourth prompt was President Trump's use of the term Chinese virus when referring to COVID-19 and the impact that has had. The writers were asked to reflect on that in their work. And then the fifth prompt was the verbal and physical attacks that Asians across the country have experienced since the outbreak of COVID as a result of statements as well that the president has said, but also just longstanding racism that Asians have experienced in this country just historically. So these 5 prompts were part of the category called the challenge. And so these writers wrote for about 5 to 10 minutes in each of those, in response to each of those prompts. The second prompt was called, What is Healing? And so one of the reasons I wanted to include this in this process is because oftentimes when communities of color come together, we do tend to focus, maybe unintentionally, on whiteness, on how we're going to navigate through whiteness. In some of these pieces, there is talk of that, but it's framed in a very different way. So in this What is Healing prompt that I asked these writers to respond to, they're really reflecting on what healing for both of our communities could look like and feel like. And they're doing that through their creative writing. So tonight you are going to hear some work from some amazing writers. And I'm glad that you could join us. And I'm excited to have you with us and excited to see where this project goes in the future.
Hi, my name is Ashawnti Sakina Ford. I am an actress, improviser, teaching artist, playwright, director, and co-founder of two theater companies, Black Ensemble Players and Theater 45 in the Twin Cities. And I'm going to be reading my piece called Memories of Solidarity. Memories of solidarity before I knew we needed it the most. E. Genuine curiosity. We were 8. Our desks were in the same clump, and we'd often get called on for whispering by our teacher. We'd say sorry and promise not to do it again, but we were lying. We weren't making trouble, we just weren't paying attention to our teacher or what she was teaching because we were too busy learning something else. Or I was too busy learning something else. What is Hmong? It's me. I'm Hmong. Well, so are you from Hmong land? Well, where are Hmong people from? I'm from here, Minneapolis. Oh, but my family is not. They came here from Laos. But we are not Lao, we are Hmong. I'm white Hmong. You don't look white. No, there is white Hmong and green Hmong. We know because the way we speak. Shh, says our teacher, but we just whisper even softer. I'm black. I know that. I know, I just felt I should share something too. My family's from Mississippi. Shh. Can you teach me Hmong? Sure, but what do I get in return? How about every day you teach me something, I'll give you my chocolate milk at lunch. Deal. Our first lesson is counting to 10. E. E. Ah. Ah. Pay. Pay? Plow. Plow. Shh. Sorry. Memories of solidarity before I knew we needed it the most. Ah. Connection. Her name was Sally. We were 11. We were friends all year long, proud Northsiders. We were friends all year long, and I knew everything about her. She had 15 siblings, all in one house. I had 8 different mamas. We both liked softball, both always on the A honor roll. Her name was Sally. Well, until her mom called her something different one day, and she wasn't Sally. Wait, what did your mom just call you? Oh, that was my Hmong name, my birth name. Sally's not my real name. Wait. Everyone at school calls you Sally. Teachers, your friends. I know. My mom changed my name for school so people could pronounce it. Non-Hmong people have a hard time pronouncing my name for some reason. Well, that's like me. Every time a white person tries to say my name, they mix up all the letters. I'm either Ashawnti, 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 or worse, Ashawnti. Worse. I know. What? So what's your name then? It's Sally! Ashawnti! Shh! Memories of solidarity before I knew we needed it the most. Pay. Celebrate. At 13, we celebrated. Large Black History Month celebrations and Hmong New Year celebrations, kente fabric and story cloth, food, all the food, the flavors and spices, the dances, appreciation of ancestors, the stories we will never let go, the connections we made, witnessing each other's cultures, learning each other's histories, eating each other's foods, laughing and playing and feeling joy, celebrating that we are here. We made it. Memories of solidarity before I knew we needed it the most. Wow. Pause. Is there room to celebrate each other when Black people are being shot by police in their sleep, and Asian life is being threatened by their fellow Americans? G. Breathe. Is there time to connect when life is dripping away before us, when breath is shallow as we do our daily life, when grandmothers are pushed down, babies have to grow up too fast, tall beings lurk behind us to see what's under our mask in hopes that they can banish someone from a land not even theirs? Ciao. Act. What will you do with your curiosity after you've learned something? Is our duty to each other only to face supremacy together, or build a world for each other where it doesn't exist? In our youth, we loved our differences before we even knew we were different. We played on playgrounds in solidarity. We ate each other's food in solidarity. We learned each other's cultures, played each other's games, celebrated each other's histories. It was solidarity before we knew we would need it the most. Thank you. This project so far has been really, it has been a breath. It has been a pause for me. It has been a breath, and it has given me time to reflect on, as you can see in my piece, what solidarity has meant in the past. And now I just want to use this as a jumping off point to really push myself and further myself and invest in what that means now and in the future. So I really thank Rebecca for curating this, and I appreciate everyone's stories and everyone's writing. So thank you all very much.
Hello, my name is Sunny Thao, and I wrote a piece called 7 Days. And I'll just begin. 7 days. Imagine a world where being Black doesn't get you arrested or killed. Being Asian doesn't get you kicked in the face or run over. Being a woman and saying no doesn't get you stalked or harassed. Being queer doesn't get you disowned. And supporting Black Lives Matter isn't compared to being a part of the KKK or Nazi. This is that world. One day, the maker woke up and looked through their Google Calendar. They saw that the creation of the world was due in 7 days. So through day 1 through 3, they procrastinated and binge-watched anime, The Office reruns, and dramatic Korean dramas with unrealistic storylines but super hot leads. On day 7, they looked at their phone and said, still got 3 more days. But that night, the spell of procrastination broke, and they began to work. They decided to make some bibimbap from all the Korean drama binges. And when cracking the egg, it glowed and grew bigger. When the maker looked at the box, they realized that this carton of egg had been expired for a month. They decided to throw it out. The eggs merged together and became the sun. On day 5, with the final alarm out of the 15 other ones, the maker reached over to turn it off without realizing they had tipped over their bottle of water, causing floods and streams to mix with their dirt floor. This became the oceans, lakes, and rivers. Yes, the maker lives in a small dirt hut. Don't shame them. Rent is high at the moment. With all these elements mixed together, the maker decided to plant some broccolis, because they're the maker, which grew into trees, which split into various elements and thus created life. On day 6, the maker began to notice infestations in their hut. Without an exterminator nearby and the loneliness of quarantine, the maker decided to befriend these beings and become their caretaker. Upon closer inspection, the maker realized that each of these beings had their own personalities and traits. Some were darker, some were smarter, and some were kind of dumbasses. But nonetheless, the maker loved all. At night, the maker decided to make tiny homes for the tiny beings. But when dozing off and falling into REM sleep, the maker heard commotion. The beings had created an advanced community with even more tiny beings to join them. The maker gleamed in happiness and said, That's my beings right there. Only to look closer and see that some beings were torturing others. While some looked away and some fought back, the beings began praying to the Maker. Please save us, they cried. So the Maker did what they knew best. They went back to sleep because this was just too much. On day 7, when the Maker woke up, they saw the ruins of the communities, and somewhere deep inside them, guilt grew. It bloomed and fostered into tears, which began a flood. But the beings were smarter. They already built houses to withstand any weather. When their Maker saw that the beings did not die, they realized it's going to take more than 7 days to create a perfect world. It might take their lifetime, and it's going to be worth it. It has to be. So that was my piece, 7 days. And I created it from this project. And it was also inspired by a lot of discussions I saw on my Facebook feed. Yeah, I don't know if this is so awkward, sorry. Yeah, this is a really great project, and I'm really happy that Atlese showed this to me, and grateful that Eastside Freedom Library and Rebecca and the whole cohort for just teaching me how to create this art. I still feel like a very newbie to this world, so just thank you. But yeah, next person.
I'm Patti Kmeya. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a writer who forages wild plants in St. Paul. Tonight I'm going to read one poem I'm calling Can We All Get Along? 1. A girl. She wrote poems and dreamed of life beyond 15. Scooped mud pies with her friends from big sloppy buckets. She made honor roll deep in books that erased her. Sophomore year, British Lit and European history. A Greyhound brought her family to LA, full of dreams. Speeding down a transcontinental highway. She was 9 when her mother was shot at a nightclub. Latasha dreamed of becoming a lawyer someday. She turned 12 as Operation Hammer pounded her stucco street. Thousands arrested without charge when police occupation took dark skin for gang colors. Immigrant shopkeepers followed their lead by tracking customers in the aisles with heavy eyes. 2. A shopkeeper. Her parents named her Sunja, ready for life under Japanese rule. Then Cold War rivals sliced Korea in two as if it were theirs to occupy anew. She turned 9 as their proxy war pitted Koreans against Koreans, collateral damage untelevised. The US forgot to end that war. Sunjadu grew up, married, had 3 children. An airplane brought them all to LA the year after Latasha was born. Full of dreams, they settled in a suburb tied to their South Central store with a knot of freeways. She could check prices and people, but not truths purveyed on TV. The hit show MASH showed Korea through American eyes, while Black men cast as criminals merged with the soldiers, invading her dreams. 3. Videotapes. Latasha's grandmother warned, don't go into Empire Liquor unless you plan to make a purchase. She still did not survive a breakfast errand 9 days after KTLA aired a videotape of police swarming and beating Rodney King. At the trial, the deputy DA warned, this is not television, when she showed the grainy security footage contradicting Sunjadu's testimony. This is not television, and then it was. In living rooms, in dorm lounges nationwide, we watched and we forgot. The deputy DA also said, this is real life. 2 videotapes, 2 juries, 2 attacks on Black people, yet the defendants all walked free. as if what we saw with our own eyes were not a crime. So activists protested in the street, while journalists trained their itchy lenses on Black and brown people setting fires, stealing goods, striking cars. On the second morning of unrest, federal riot squads moved north from the San Diego border. They softened the city for what followed. Trembling from his injuries, Rodney King asked his burning nation, "Can we all get along? Can we get along?" For along. Can we all get along? Separated from the fires by stacks of asphalt strips, we in the suburbs heard, "Can we all move along?" We hit the snooze button, the next on-ramp toward our dreams. In the Midwest, where Latasha was born and beyond, interstates sliced through Black communities. Here, I-94 gutted Old Rondo in North Minneapolis, leaving my white affluent corner intact. In LA, my father took freeways to USC, the college Latasha planned to attend. I-110 also sliced through Latasha's district with cold concrete columns, displacing pretty homes or dreams. What does it mean to get along? Imagine along as a process, not a purchase of orange juice, not a performance of community service. Today, federal riot control agents are poised from the US borders now found throughout the world. When we let things simmer down and move along, we declare again that what we see with our own eyes is not a crime. Rodney King also said, "I mean, we're all stuck here for a while. Let's stick around for a while in our discomfort. Let's stick around for a while and refuse to be erased. Let's stick around for a while and not let others be erased." Imagine along as a process with no endpoint and no out. So, thought a little bit about my experience of this process. I really enjoyed getting to meet and talk to the other artists and hearing about their work. This project gave me the opportunity to revisit an event that also affected me very deeply, although in a very different way than Ed Buckley. You know, I was and remain very much an outsider, but I took this opportunity to learn about an event that happened close to me, and yet I still did not understand. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to understand this event that happened many years ago, but that still haunts my consciousness. So thank you.
Yes, my name is Elise Robinson. I am a writer, performer, director, producer, and the founding artistic director of Ambiance Theater Company. The piece that I will be sharing today is a short script. It's an excerpt from the script, and the piece is inspired by, in part, real events that have happened and something that I've observed just throughout my life and just thinking about ways that we can bridge the gaps.
Interior liquor store, 2 p.m.-ish. The liquor store is small but well stocked. There is a middle-aged Hmong man, Chinois, standing near the door, and a younger Hmong woman, Ba, at one of the registers. There is a Hmong newspaper on a stand near the register with a headline that reads, quote, "COVID-19 fueling anti-Asian racism and xenophobia," unquote. As soon as Janae and Nini walk in, the air sits still. The tension rises in its place, especially between Janae and Chinois.
Hey, how y'all doing?
No response.
Do these motherfuckers speak English?
Y'all got Captain Morgan the Fifth?
Yes, we have it behind a counter.
Okay, that's
Nah, let me browse these motherfuckers. Got a nice selection.
I can save this here for you.
Thank you.
In mom.
Lili có tụi nó nhóc có tử.
Nè chơi hồi thì nè giờ có chuyện là chỉ lấy nè.
Rồi nói thế rồi bé là nè. Nhưng được qua đi nói đồ của giống món này giờ tờ nè.
These motherfuckers be talking shit when they call themselves speaking their home language in front of motherfuckers who don't understand that shit.
I thought you just wanted some captain in a rollout.
These niggas got wild Irish rolls.
Come on, Nay. Let's get up out of here.
You take your ass on, then I'm gonna take my sweet goddamn time. Rushing me and shit. I don't know what the fuck her ass on today. Was just talking about these Mekong motherfuckers being on bullshit, and now you trying to make them comfortable. These motherfuckers don't give a nigga right. Don't greet a nigga right, talking all that shit about that damn nigga. They talking all that shit about that damn nigga Damien, but you a stale bread ass nigga too.
What?
I didn't stutter, sweetheart. You heard what the fuck I said.
Oh, I didn't know hard bitches mumble.
Who cho bộ lý nè? Buy your bottle now or leave. Don't argue in my store.
Oh, now your ass can speak. Couldn't even get a greeting when we walked in this bitch. Fuck you, motherfucking store.
Get out. Who polita she know?
You telling her to call the police? Want to see a nigga get shot dead today, huh?
Janae starts knocking down rows of liquor. Chimwa goes to behind the register where Va is about to grab his gun, but Va knows that she stands between him and the lockbox.
Dán được hoa kê.
Ê, có chuyện to nữa. Bé chỉ đi to nó nè.
Có chỗ họ lên nó nè.
Nini has Janae disarmed and is walking her out of the store. Nosy people surround them from windows, bus stop benches, and cars. As soon as they make it a block away, Nini lets Janae go. Janae pushes Nini and they start to throw blows for a few moments before Nini and Janae disarm again.
We gotta get back to the house and keep it cool. I ain't getting arrested today.
She lets go Janae.
Shit, your ass just like the police holding me like that. You hurt my arm, bitch.
You lucky I ain't beat your ass.
You turncoat ass bitch. Them motherfuckers in there don't give a fuck about us. You think I give a fuck about that shit, about that material shit in that store? That motherfucker would have called the police just like the white folks, and you want to be all proper and shit.
I saw the motherfucker go behind the corner, could have been grabbing his own goddamn gun. I had your back getting you the fuck up out of there. I'm always playing level-headed for your ass. Some shit you gotta let go.
I'm a burden then, bitch. Don't be my friend. I'm going back to my room. Fuck you.
Whatever then. Get your headache ass away from me.
Nini and Janae go in separate directions as sirens approach. End of scene.
I really enjoyed in this process, again, like a lot of people have already said, is just listening to one another and being able to be fearless in what it means to build solidarity. I think a lot of people have lived through different experiences like what I wrote about, and myself I have, and I think what's important is to always pay attention to the people on either side of issues who are always trying to make bridges. And like, that's one of the things that I wanted to illuminate with Va and Nini's character in particular. Because we all are making this home under unfortunate circumstances. And so I think it's just really important for us to remember where those through lines are. And it was also just a lot of fun to imagine my work in a way that allows Black and Hmong people to be on stage together. Thank you.
Alrighty. Okay, thank you, everyone. That is it. We have gone through all of the pieces.